Oh, we're being live streamed. All right.
Well, that's a new one.
Mm-hmm. Well, Troy, when you said the Pixel 6, of course, I am into football now, so all I could think of was interception. That's all
Hmm.
I could think of. So sad. So pathetic.
What's really getting crazy is the camera specs on these phones.
Oh, man.
I don't know, 48 megapixel,
Whoa.
30x telephoto. I'm
Wow.
not remembering the details, but I used to be a big camera buff. Had
Mm-hmm.
the ever increasing better SL, DSLR, and
Yep.
and I don't use it anymore, and it feels so good to hold the big camera and focus, and it's still
Mm-hmm.
a better if you're but God, the cameras on those phones now, and given it's in your pocket,
Yeah, I mean,
you just
I can't even, when we look back even a few years ago and we look at video from our phones and go, wow, that was interesting. And they still can't develop a good color detector app. I'm not entirely sure why, but that still seems to be out of reach.
hmm
So that'll be the holy grail. When they do that, then, there'll be no place
hmm
else to go. And accessibility, it'll all be done.
hmm
Okay. Oh, and Ryan, are we ready?
Just a second, and we will be ready.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, we just double check something.
Hello, everyone. We will be starting momentarily. Oh, goodness.
All right, we are good.
Okay. And welcome everyone to the October Explorer Call here at Aira. I'm Jeanine Stanley. I'm your Director of Customer Communications. We are joined tonight by Ryan Bishop. Hello, Ryan.
Hello. How it's I don't know why, but I feel like we haven't done one of these in a while, and
I
yet I know we
know.
have. Like, it just for some
It's only
reason
been a month, but
it feels like a long time, and so hi everyone. I'm glad to be back with you, and
and hello to
glad to be over
Facebook
some.
tonight, live on our
hey.
Facebook page. And as just to make that even more special, we have our CEO, Mr. Troy Attilio, with us tonight. Hey, Troy.
Hello, everyone out in virtual land, wherever you are, whatever time it is. So glad to join tonight and listen and maybe contribute a little.
All right. Well, we have some big access announcements this time around. And Friday was formerly White Cane Safety Day. Now it's known as Blind Americans Equality Day, and maybe White Cane Safety Day around the world. But Troy, we had a couple big things happen that day.
Yeah, the one I don't think it is an IRA first, but I think it's also just a celebration of an increasing awareness and support for all things accessibility. I know that when IRA started, we didn't even contemplate access deals. The whole goal was create a great experience. It still is create a great experience for the end user. But when we found there was an appetite for this private and public relationship, whether it's airports or the Starbucks or whatever, I think some of us dreamed big. I certainly dreamed big, and I dreamed about, hey, what if there was a whole city that was an IRA access zone? Well, I think we also maybe deep down thought well, what about a state? And of course, we're here today, proud to talk about and really congratulate the state of Connecticut for their choice to start what is a 18-month pilot. But we all know and that once you deploy Aira, there's a good chance that the everyone's going to see the value, and it's going to be a continued partnership. So we're super thrilled to have an entire state, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more. But that's obviously a big one. Like Jeanine, I know you were involved. Like, what
Oh,
were some of your reactions to that?
it was incredible. I was just, as it developed and as we defined the scope of things and what this was actually going to mean to people, and then we got a small group of our customers together, some of our frequent IRA folks in Connecticut, and they helped us flesh it out even more. And their excitement really got us going, I have to say. Sandy Marcus and I talked with them, and afterward we were like, "Yeah, let's go!"
Mhm.
And we hope that everybody in Connecticut will find it as exciting and as, gosh, there's so many adjectives, but as we did, and
It's kind of
will
funny because
still do.
I
Yeah.
go back to a conversation that I had a long time ago. So, a lot of people remember Saman, and
Mm-hmm.
I go back to a conversation I had with him a long time ago, and he said, one day I imagine a dream where I can go to an airport, and it's an Aira airport, where you can get Aira access. I board a plane, I fly over the United States, and I hear a bunch of dings as my phone flies over, and I get a bunch of access notifications. And it's just, it's that thought of like, a city or a state or, whatever that may be. And it's really great to see it. I can't be more excited. Like, I
And I
just,
do think we need to give some credit. Like, again, and some people might be out there wondering, like, well, how do I get my state? And that's a great question. But maybe some of the details behind the deal, if you will, or like why. And first off, it's a partnership. So the way this got done was as a partnership between the Bureau of Education of Services for the Blind, BESB, which is an organization in Connecticut, right, serving that constituent. It's the Connecticut Department of Transportation, known as CT Rides, and it's the Connecticut Transportation Institute. So I think when you're taking on something like a state, like there's going to be a lot of decision makers,
a lot of moving parts.
a lot
Yes.
of people.
Yeah.
And what helped, and the extent the folks listening, like, want to hear more of these, like, frankly, just the explorers, right? At the end of the day, when when these decision makers looked at our service, one of the questions was, well, is it a service that really is effective? Do people use it? Do they like it? And testimonials that are online, whether it's Facebook or the other places where people make comments, um, you know those matter, right? Because there's a lot of due diligence to answer that question: is Aira a valuable service? um, the second is the way this product is designed, it's easy to deploy. Like, there was no beacons to launch, there's nothing to map. It was pretty simple, and that's something we always say, but it's hard sometimes for institutions, businesses to believe that, because so many products, technologies have the promise, but in the reality, like, there is a lot to do to implement something. You got to update a website, you got to do all these things. So I think those were two reasons why. But I think, to the extent, again, and I do selfishly promote this, but I promote it, for the good of everyone, which is the more we talk about services like Aira, the better, because it brings that into view of those people making decisions about where to invest in accessibility. The other thing we could talk about, it's more of a footnote, but it is important. The state of Connecticut also wanted to see support for Spanish. So for people
Yeah.
who are native Spanish speakers, that was given their demographics, given kind of some of their goals. And in the state of Connecticut, you can, and anywhere, you can update your profile and your Aira profile to say you are Spanish only, and we will route you to a Spanish speaking agent. And we can talk more about that. But I thought that was an interesting, outcome of working with the state, where they have kind of broader requirements in some cases. And, that's something we added. It wasn't too hard to add, but it did take some effort, and we'll be monitoring how that goes.
And that's kind of the first step on our call routing journey, right?
Yes, yeah, and because
It's
of
kind of
course,
exciting.
yeah, it is exciting, and we always like to talk about call routing. There's more routing going on than you probably know, but one of them is, hey, it's all about matching you with the best possible agent for the task you have, and it's Ira's job to to figure out, based on your history, what you tell us, and maybe what you do in the future in the app, so that we can make the best match possible for that moment in time.
Very exciting. So, a little bit more about Connecticut. This particular trial project, pilot project, covers not only all forms of public transportation, and that includes paratransit, rideshare, bus, ferry, train. I don't know if airports are in there, are they? I think maybe so. But all of
Airports,
those
just to be
forms.
clear, Jeanine, just before like that gets
Yep,
too far down the road, airports are not included in the state of Connecticut rollout. Why?
that's what I thought.
Because if you look back at the partnership, really the sponsor here is Connecticut Department of Transportation. Airports are
Ah,
not part of that, of their purview. It's not part of their
gotcha.
um, approach. They are, introducing us, and I expect we'll get those airports,
Ah,
but explicitly stating it's not in the initial launch.
gotcha.
But
So,
at the same
yep.
time, there's more, right? So you want to talk
Not
about
there,
essential
but there's
services?
essential services, which, if you're wondering what an essential service is, we have a list, never fear, and it is a fairly big list, and you can access that from our website. We have a link to it, I do believe, at ira.io/state of CT. But I
Mhm.
will tell you that essential services include things like grocery shopping, going to medical appointments, going to any public building in the state of Connecticut to do things like registering to vote, updating your ID, any government services that you need on the state level, and most of those buildings are also local too. So um, and let's see, there are a number of other activities. There are some in home activities. I will tell you, it's probably easier to tell you what's not included, and that would be entertainment. Um, Specifically things like describing TV shows or going to concerts or things like that, and shopping for things other than food and medical supplies. So those are the only things that aren't included. A bunch of other things are. And if you're not sure if the activity that you want to do falls under that category, you can ask your agent and they'll be happy to look it up for you. And so let's talk about how to get a hold of this offer because this is only available to citizens of the state of Connecticut. Now, of course, the transportation spots are geofenced, so those are going to pop up if you visit Connecticut and you take a ferry or the train or something like that. You're going to get to take advantage of those as someone visiting the state. But the essential services piece is only for citizens of Connecticut. And what you're going to do, you're going to go into the Aira app. You'll tap on that button on the screen right above the Call Aira button, and that's apply a free access offer. And when you tap on that, you're going to be given a list, and you'll type on promotions. And up in the top of that screen, there's a search box. You can type in CT and it will bring up the promo. You can also swipe down through the different promos that we have till you get to State of Connecticut. And when you get there, you will double tap on that. You will find a link to a survey. And the survey is something because there's research here, right, Troy? This is,
Yep,
the
that's
CT Transportation Institute.
mhm.
So this is all part of a research project, and you will fill out a survey. When you completed that, you will get a code. You can put the code in the app, and then you are good to go to use the offer. Now, if you're not in the state of Connecticut and you follow all those steps, we will know about it. So, uh, just because, we're all honest, good people here, so no one would ever do that, right? No, never, never. But anyway, so that's the way this particular promo works. So we have a state. But Troy, we have another city, another Ira smart city.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a pun. How do we play into this? But I guess maybe it's if yeah, you have to go all the way over almost to the West Coast to get this city. Um, and it's a destination. It's a city that, what we're seeing is there's certain cities and states who are really leaning into, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Or equality and inclusion. And it's a mindset, it's a culture, and this particular city has a is building a very strong reputation of being the most accessible.
Right, you could almost say it's very bright in its way of doing things.
Very that's
Oh,
um,
oh.
you're really zoning in on where I'm going.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is a city in Arizona, and I've been through there. It's quite lovely. It's the
It
city of
is. It's
Mesa,
beautiful.
Arizona. Um, just a little aside, there's a small but growing organization called Travel Ability. It's been around for about 3 years. It's led by Jake Steinman, and the goal of this organization is to promote accessible travel. And so it's a group of um, hotels, of cruise lines, and then something called a destination marketing organization. So I didn't know this, but in certain large cities, the everyone who benefits from travel, from the travel industry, usually pays into a fund that funds basically people who do marketing, and those people who do marketing create ads and even websites that advertise that destination. For example, Mesa, Arizona, or San Diego, or maybe in your city. And Mesa is part of this group called Travel Ability. And I was at the conference and we were talking, and Mesa happens to, they like the idea of supplying this experience to their city in hopes and or expectations that, one, it's the right thing to do. Second, it also sends a signal not just to people who may want to use Aira, but to their family and other folks who care about this outcome. And so Mesa has adopted Aira as its solution for accessible travel and planning. So if you're planning to go to Mesa,
Shout
yeah,
out to Mark Garcia, by the way, who says Mesa, Arizona is happy to be an IRA partner on our
Awesome.
nice,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're kudos to Mesa. They're a true thought leader, and again, I think this is an opportunity for those of us who want to see more of this. Like, the more we shout and share and maybe even poke our local cities and states, like, hey, what about our area? Like, this is how those things start to get rolling. But yeah, Mesa's another great win, and there's been some great publicity there, and I just can't wait to see what use cases we see evolve in that area.
Because this one is for
It's a
fun.
wonderful, wonderful area. Most of I'm sadly just moved from Arizona, but it's a very beautiful place, and I'm really excited to see, and so happy to see it come so close to home. Like, I've grown up there my entire life, so it's a wonderful place. I'm really excited, and yeah, I can't wait to see the use
So,
cases.
yeah, so what's included here? Well, the exciting thing about this promo is that it's for visitors and residents, and it's all of the public spaces, all of those spaces where you might go if you are a tourist or a resident. And that would include all of the public parks, the concert and event venues, stadiums, hotels, attractions, any of the attractions within the city limits of Mesa and Queens Creek. And so there are tons of things, all of the public transportation, including rideshare. So you can have Ira along if you're a tourist in a new city and doing a rideshare. Hey, am I going the right way? Am I going to the right place? But here's the other fun thing. If you are planning a trip to Mesa, you can actually use this promo to get an agent to help you plan your trip. You can look at activities, you can book reservations, all of those things. It just has to be to Mesa, Arizona, and it's it's pretty amazing. Mesa has won all kinds of awards for accessibility in some
Hmm.
categories that are really interesting. One had to do with autism, another one had to do with general accessibility. So we really fit right in here. I think it's kind of a natural thing that we are here. So excited for Mesa. And as a college football fan, I know Mesa Tempe area quite well from the Fiesta Bowl. So, yep, absolutely.
But I
So,
think most people probably are in Mesa. They're not probably in the state of Connecticut, and I always get the question like, well, when is it coming to my city? When is it coming to my state, my country, like my like.
mhm,
And first off, I just have to repeat it. Just like we are passionate to get it everywhere. What we do is we market directly on our website, on Facebook, on all the channels, Twitter, and then we have news. Like NBC is just picking up on Connecticut. That maybe gets to other eyeballs and other ears and other states and other cities. Um, and then a lot of our deals come because somebody, an individual, likely who uses the service, has a connection, is able to make a connection. That's hard work. Like I'm not asking you guys to do it, but when people do ask me, hey, what can I do? I mean, my best answer is either reach out to your elected officials or to the business you have in mind. And often it's about sharing some of the content that's already there, right? Because when you have a state or a city that's already vetted and chosen this approach, um, that's a real statement. That's a real endorsement that carries weight in addition to probably what you say. And I just think the momentum is growing, and now is a good time to really double down on that getting the word out.
and on the international side of all of these, we did a lovely event over the weekend for Open House Dublin in the Republic of Ireland, and we really appreciate some of our new explorers in that part of the world. So stay tuned for that one. There will be more to come in that neck of the woods, and that was a lovely event that we did with Sinead Burke. And she is one of the influencers in that area, and you can find her online at the Sinead Burke is her social
Mhm.
media handle. Look her up; she is incredible.
Hmm.
Well, Ryan, we have a bit of an announcement here for iOS users. I'm gonna send this one over to you.
Absolutely. So first of all, guys, love all the announcements. So I do want to talk really quickly about our iOS application. Those of you know, recently Apple has released iOS 15. We do know that when new iOS versions come out, sometimes it can be a little rocky for a start. And so I'm coming to tell you guys today about something that's currently in beta and that will be released on Monday. iOS, I believe the number is 15.2. Somebody will probably correct me on that, or I'll see it on Monday and be corrected. But the current one that has it is the beta of 15.1 that is out right now. And that is that there's certain screens of our Aira app that are not currently working in the beta. These are any screens that have to do with editing or viewing your Aira profile, viewing your ability to purchase minutes, the ability to upgrade your plan in the app, anything like that. So if you on Monday update to the latest iOS version as of today, you will not be able to get access to these screens. We are aware, we are working on it. We hope to have, no, we will have a fix for it. I would say early next week. We are getting close to a solution, so hopefully soon. I just want to bring it to everyone's attention. We are aware. I would recommend holding off if you can and not update. If you do need access to those sections of the Aira app, they work right now in the current version that is out. So we just like to stay ahead of the game and let everyone know about what's going on with the beta. So you are currently still able to get access. If you do have a phone that is giving you slight problems with those screens right now, there is a workaround on the versions that are out where if you put one finger in the center of the screen and tap your screen, it will load the page. But unfortunately,
the minute
that
you
does
touch that
not.
page in the center, it starts
Yeah,
talking. So that's how you know
yeah.
you've got it.
But it does not work on the beta. So if you are
No.
running the iOS beta right now, unfortunately, you will not be able to get access to these screens. We are working on it. Should be out early next week. So stay tuned to our social media. Stay tuned.
Yep.
We will make announcements as soon as we have that released. And you will see an update to the Aira app as soon as that update is out. And we
if
will
you
let you know.
if you have a need to access those parts of the screen, your profile, something in there, maybe updating your credit card, changing your language preference, now that everybody knows about that, or purchasing minutes, you can always contact our customer care team. Their hours are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm not even going to try to convert the worldwide times, but you can also text them and they can contact you back if
I do
that
want to
would
show. I
be
do want to throw out there
easier.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, all day, every day. So they
Yep,
are open on the weekends. We get a lot of
7
questions about
days
that.
a
Is
week.
care open on the weekends? Yes, they're open Saturdays and Sundays as well. So you're
Yep,
welcome to get a hold of them anytime.
and they are happy
Um,
to take your call.
mhm.
Absolutely. And
Email, text,
anything. Yeah, you got it. Well, let's
call.
see. Do we have anything else to announce, Ryan?
Let's see.
There has been just, it feels like there's been a ton of things going on in the last month. The
No,
call routing, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think I always like to throw it out there. The Android app, like, we have made
Yes.
some massive pushes on our
Hmm.
Android app lately, and um, and every day I feel like we're making changes to that app to make it up to more parity with iOS. And so, I want to call some of those out. Photo sharing. We heard from some people that there was some issues with photo sharing, so we went hard at work and were able to get those sorted. Picture taking. So some people were having some trouble with taking pictures. Those have also been sorted. If you're still having any problems, we ask that you let our care team know. But most all of that, I believe, has been fixed on most Android devices. Trying to think here. Goodness, like, it's been a great ride. Like, I remember, coming to you guys in July and saying, hey, we want to make sure we can get our iOS and Android apps to parity, and here we are now in October, and the Android app has made leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
So shout out to our engineers who have really made that happen.
absolutely.
And really, we appreciate them, and look forward to bringing you guys more app updates in the future. So
Absolutely. And let's see, we have had, trying to think if we've had any more universities. We welcome Duke University since our last call to our university network. That's pretty exciting. Always another great research university out there. So, but it doesn't matter how big or how small the university is, they are all welcome in our higher education network. So, let's see. We can take a few minutes here and take some questions from folks if you would like. Let's see, do we have some raised hands here, Ryan?
we do, yes. And I'm
Right.
going to check over here really quick before we go there.
Oh, look at that. Troy's raising his hand.
Yeah, you said, who's got their hand raised? And I raised my hand. All right. Loser.
Mark says on Facebook chat, I've got to run, but thank you, Ira, for making the world a more accessible place.
Oh,
So
awesome. Thank you,
we're glad
Mark,
to
for
have
Mark,
you,
if you can
Mark.
hear
joining
us,
us.
that really the thanks goes to you. Like, without you, we're not in Mesa. And so, honestly, from our users and from the CEO himself, like, really, really appreciate the partnership. Yeah, I can't wait to see. Everyone's gonna have to follow Mesa. What a statement.
Oh, gosh, yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
so we are going to hear from. There we go. Okay, I have my attendees list now. All right, let's hear from Winway.
Hello, Wenway.
Winway.
There she is.
There we go.
go.
Hello, can you hear me?
We
Yep,
can.
we sure can.
Cool. I had a question specifically for you, Ryan, and I guess everyone else. I was wondering if these developments are also going to extend to the iPadOS app, or are you just no longer going to support that? Because there have been some issues with taking pictures in the app.
I'm gonna bite my tongue here and say I didn't even know we worked on the iPad. Officially, we never. I don't think we ever supported the iPad, but
Ryan, and here's what Winway's always like there at the forefront. We should go look at our numbers and see. But
we should, yeah. Like I'll be honest and say,
Winway,
like,
it's not a lack of interest there. It's just I think maybe it's been working without us thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to look at who else, how many people, and what have you. But if there's demand, I mean, we'll support it. It's
I'm thinking, Troy, that before they bifurcated the OS into iOS and iPadOS.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah. It probably worked much better. And now that those two are separate.
But I mean, our strategy is to put Aira in as many places. We talked about it. We continue to work behind the scenes on something called an SDK, and part of the goal of that SDK is to it's our future kind of base platform of our app that will make sure we can run everywhere. And even my dog agrees.
Wait, I'm sorry. For us non-technical people, what's an SDK?
Software Development Kit.
Oh,
it basically means that Aira will work on really any device with integration. And so you'll be able to get Aira onto, we'll say iPads, everything like that. Eventually, maybe like a desktop client, your security system, your camera, your watch, whatever that may be, that you can get Aira on. And so it is really the future of Aira. I don't know if we fully made an announcement because I don't believe we set it at the roadmap. So I'll say it here, like, we looked at the question of back in the day, we as most of we used to be a hardware company, so it was glasses, it was really good at doing stuff like that, but we figured out really quickly that we're not that company. We are more of a software company, and so what's the best thing to do for a software company to really get out there? We hear what you're saying. You want hands-free options, you want the ability to take Aira with you anywhere and to use it anywhere, maybe on that iPad, maybe on that smart Ring doorbell that you can see where somebody is outside and be at home. So what we set out to do is build what's called the Aira SDK, or software development kit, for developers and us as well to be able to integrate products into Aira. And so that journey has begun. Hopefully we'll get to the launch date for that very soon. And that will allow you to really work on getting Aira, and I won't say you, but developers, to get Aira onto really anything that they want to get Aira onto. And you'll be able to link those devices to your Aira account, use them, have the agents call them up when you need them, and also just be able to access your agents wherever. So that is really the goal for Aira going forward. So, but we will definitely look at the data for those iPads, because I'll be honest and say, like, I think I definitely see the use case.
I hope that people mention it over time, but definitely, probably just taking a look at that iPadOS and seeing where the differences are.
Okay. Yeah. And I wish you best with that venture of your SDK.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just remember, you asked. But a good example of how that SDK might work is our partnership with the folks at Good Maps, which was, I knew there was something else that was coming up.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, if you happen to have the Good Maps Outdoors app, it will look kind of familiar if you had the what used to be known as CDI GPS, which we acquired and then uh, are now in a relationship with the folks at Good Maps. And Good Maps Outdoors, right up in the top of that app, is a Call Aira button. And that's the kind of thing that the SDK will allow other developers to do. So, and we are very excited about this app. It's a
I think
great
it's
app,
that,
and
like,
it's
there's,
free.
the call Ira button, that's definitely part of it. And then, really it's, getting the app onto all those other devices. There's two parts to it. There's multiple ways you can get it done. There's also, desktop. There's
Yep.
also, a lot of things like that you'll be able to have your Ira on, and really be able to just get instant access to information for real. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Well,
let's see. We had a question in chat that I want to get to really quick.
Okay.
Where'd the chat
Awesome.
go? Oh, no, it was question and answer. So many places. Okay. Marcia, you asked us a question. If I go to a computer store like Apple or Mac to get help on my Apple things, can I call for help from their store? Will Ira work on Apple 13 Pro? Yes, so Ira does work on the iPhone 13s. You can definitely use it on the iPhone 13s. Now, I have an iPhone 13. Ira works perfect. I don't yet see any jumping out accessibility things that we haven't seen yet. So far, yes, you can definitely use Ira on the 13s. I'm trying to get the beginning part of your question. So if you go to a computer store like Apple or Mac to get help on your Apple, can you call for help from the store? You can. Most Apple stores or computer stores are not access locations, so that would be on your time or your minutes. Unless you go to, do we have a mall that's access location?
Actually, we have Memorial Mall in
Memorial Mall, yeah.
Houston. Yes.
Yep. So if you're cool enough to be near that location, otherwise, a lot of those stores would be on your own time. But yes, agents can definitely read.
Yep. I have absolutely used Ira to make my way through the very noisy Apple store.
Yep. I've used Ira at an Apple store to read the screen. I mean,
Yes.
to read a screen to a device, or, maybe I'm just shopping around and I don't want to deal with a salesman because I'm afraid they'll sell me something. Yeah, you're more than welcome to do that.
Absolutely.
If I didn't answer your question, feel free to let us know. I want to make sure we get your answer here.
And let's see who else we have out there. Yeah, Ira is fantastic in the mall. If you are a mall person, absolutely, we can grab that map to your mall and direct you to the store that you need to get to. In some stores, in some places in malls, there might be a few dead spots, but that's pretty much for everything involving a cell phone in the mall. So, I know
we are going to hear next from John. So, hello to John.
Hello,
welcome.
John.
Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. My microphone itself was muted. There's too many things to mute and unmute.
It's the story of my life.
Speaking of Ira apps in the SDK, what about the famous, announced in July, the famous desktop app?
Yep, so that's part of it. And you will see that. So as we get closer to a launch, you're going to see that as part of it. So the desktop app is definitely still on its way. So is the SDK. We do these in somewhat of a priority. So You saw the first step was to get the Android app up to parity with the iOS, and now we've branched out. So now it's going to be looking at desktop app, SDKs, stuff like that. You'll start seeing those next, and then from there, we might just conquer the world next. I don't know. Like there's we got a state going. You
never really know, but those are all baking in the development kitchen.
Oh my
absolutely, and
smells like pumpkin spice too.
And everything nice. And in all seriousness, no, guys. Like, yes, the next upcoming things, it's going to be that, and I'm looking forward to the days we can either demo or show you guys, or even maybe bring one of the engineers to let them tell you more about it. But I think the future of the future of what Aira is going to come to with the applications and a desktop app and everything will be sooner than you think. So stay tuned.
Great. Sounds wonderful. And I am one of the unfortunate people. I just upgraded to 15.0.2 because I called about 5 days ago and said, hey, how is Aira with iOS 15 and the 13 Pro? And I said, oh, it's all fine.
And then 15.0.2 came out. Now, John, you are on the version where that fix will work. So if you go to your profile,
I checked it just for the heck of it.
Yep. And it will work. But yeah, if you update on Monday and we haven't pushed out an app update, it will break right now. So just to caution you guys on that. So
now the good part is that doesn't affect the behavior of the rest of the app. So you can make calls, you can rate your calls, check your minutes, all of that kind of thing. That works fine.
One thing I have found lately is maybe you just are out of agents or something, but I've gotten a number of times where it says agent unavailable. Maybe you're just busier than you ever were or something. I don't know, but
I will tell you, we have been super busy lately. I think everyone is now discovering Aira, and of course it's fall, it's back to school time, so a lot of the college students have come back to using Aira at the universities around. And folks, we are hiring agents, so please, if you know anyone who would be a good agent, you can send them to aira.io/our-agents, and that's where they can start their journey.
I hope that you can, all those things where Aira.io / this and that, could you actually put those on the page?
We do, and we also put them in the show notes at the end here, everything. So,
but a lot of them aren't. If you just go to Aira.io, you don't see a lot of those.
Well, John.
Remember when we talked about those things that are baking? One of the delicious desserts baking. Maybe a new look to our website in the near future.
Okay.
In the very
easier to find thing.
Future. Yeah. One goal.
Hey guys, I'm gonna call an audible here because obviously we're not gonna meet with these folks for another 30 days, right? And so you've already said it. Basically, we are launching a new look to our website. We're simplifying a lot of things, and whatever you see come out in the next week or so, know that we're going to keep adding to it. But our goal was we looked at it.
Our goal is ease of access, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it's just about time, right? Like it's like cleaning your kitchen or maybe your garage. Like you go, what are all these things in here? Not everyone's using this. It's time. So we've cleaned it out. We're going to launch something very streamlined and simple. And then you might not see everything that you saw before, or you might not notice and go, hey, this is great. Either way, you'll see us add a little more, every other week. And as we pull it back and bring it into like a new look and feel that's frankly with a lot of focus on accessibility, right? Even though I think the other site, we always focus on accessibility. It's, the web changes and we have to change too. And so we put a lot of effort into making sure that everything is as accessible and usable. I should say usable.
Yep.
It's not just meeting the minimum bar. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's about making
easier.
it easy to use.
Easier, simple, and quick, right? You want to get that information quick, and find it. And so that's the goal. Now, you've been waiting for a very long time. So let's hear from Austin.
Hi,
you've had your hand raised since like the beginning of time here, and I want to get your questions answered. So,
hey, Austin, thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. So, how are you this evening, sir?
Huh?
How are you doing this evening?
I'm frustrated.
Oh no. What how can we help you?
Well, I have to report this right now because I have the iOS update, the latest update of iOS, and now I don't know if everyone's phone has that, but when I'm sharing something like a photo or a photo, it was instead of like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it will say activity. Like, are you kidding me? And I called Apple about that, and Apple's like, "Oh, you have to contact your provider." Like, no, it's your iOS bug, not this everything.
So just to make sure I understand correctly, what you're saying is when you're on iOS 15 and you go to try to share a photo, it doesn't work?
Yeah, the share sheet actually comes up rather strangely, Ryan. And it has to do
that bug.
Yes, that bug.
Yeah, so that that is an accessibility bug with Apple. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And I know the great people, give them a shout out. Great people over at AppleVis have all been reporting them to Apple. We have as well.
Yes.
But that is definitely one of the bugs in iOS 15 for VoiceOver. So any of the share sheets, the system-wide share sheet for the phone.
Yes, and it has gotten better. It has improved in 15.02, the public version, and in the beta. It's improved a little bit, depending again on your provider too, because some of the phone providers have put up updates out as well. I'll get that out here. But yeah, it believe me, Austin, we have all been frustrated by that one.
It's frustrating. Like, what if there's an important thing I had to do? Like, this is not cool.
Yeah.
I called, and I'll tell you this: I called Apple 20 times about it. Still not working. No.
Have you tried the one I'll recommend to you is the Apple accessibility phone number? I
did.
Okay, yeah, definitely. That's the best one to push them at and get them to file that too. And I know Jeanine, who's using the beta version of 15.1, has definitely probably put that into the feedback app 1,001 times.
Yes.
So
every time they come out with a new beta, it goes right back up in there because it's still there. Not everything shows on the share sheet yet. I'm seeing a lot of my frequent shares, but not everything.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm sad because when you said Connecticut, it's like, how come there's no for access in California? It's since to cut the headquarters.
There's a few places in Cali. I know that. Which part are you in, Austin?
Sacramento.
Yeah, I know. There's a few like up in southern, like, is it Southern California? I'm trying to think if there's
there are a couple in Los Angeles, I believe.
I think there's a few in San Diego. I think there's a few in Los Angeles. I thought there were in San Francisco, but then again, like I don't remember off the top of my head, but I thought there was
San
Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never know.
Well,
I always say this to people, like, we access locations pop up weekly. There's always a new place going on.
yeah, keep
Um,
looking in the app. And also
but
now you can point, people in Sacramento, people at the state level. You can say, look, here we've got Connecticut, they're doing this, and here's how they did it, and here's who they partnered with at the state level, which, as Troy said earlier, is a really important thing. You need some
mhm,
champions in state government, somebody
yeah.
who's seen how this works and the real impact that it has on people. And you'd be amazed how it's like anytime you demo Ira to somebody, they're just blown away, and they might not have understood it until that point.
I think it's that there's so much opportunity for locations now. I mean, we're gonna see. We've seen this before, and I think I'm really hoping we see it again with the way this is. We see cities, we see states, and then all of a sudden it's like this
Mhm.
cascade of cities and states. It's like
Then you
the
just,
airports. There's transit
yeah,
systems, and now look at us. We have like all these transit systems, and so
we
you know
do.
there's there's it really works that way. And it also works by everybody out there just lobbying for going out to these stores and saying, hey, go to ira.io/access. Hey,
Yeah,
I
check
use
out
this app. And
mhm. Check out
so
Meyer, check out Target, check out all of our access partners.
Starbucks,
Yep, Starbucks.
sorry.
And you mentioned Transit System. He's just wanting another one of those pumpkin spice lattes, right?
Yeah,
Pumpkin spice
yeah,
frappuccino.
my dog wants a
Yeah.
puppuccino. She's just laying here like, hey, puppuccino, come
Oh, the
on.
cuteness.
Yep.
Oh, my. Well, speaking of transit systems, remember, folks, that if you live or happen to be traveling to the Minneapolis St. Paul area of
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, you can use the Metro Transit offer. They are running a pilot program, and this one is really cool because if you live there, this is literally door to door. So you walk
It
out your front
is,
door
yeah.
heading to a bus stop, you get to that bus stop, you can have Ira on the bus with you, and then guide you right to the door of your destination. So that's pretty
Houston
cool.
too. We got Houston
Yeah,
Metro.
Houston, yep. Uh,
Yep.
let's see, Milwaukee, Milwaukee County. So
City of
yeah,
Miami Beach.
Yep.
yep, yep. And I believe there are a couple other cities that I'm blanking on right now too, but we do have a couple
Uh,
other cities. I want to say there are parts of Houston. I could be wrong about that. Hopefully not. And folks, some of these will pop up. They're location based, so when you're there, you'll get that notification in the
of
app
course,
and
if
when you
you're
turn on the app.
in Minneapolis, Nicollet Mall,
Yeah, Nicollet
there's
Mall.
that one as well.
Yep,
So you can take your IRA Access transit to Nicollet Mall, and then
there
use
you
your
go.
IRA Access Nicollet Mall to do all your shopping.
Yep, and I'm
Uh,
told there are a number of stores along that stretch. I know when I was there a few years ago, there were a lot of good restaurants around there. So,
hey,
Milwaukee.
I'm always
yep.
happy for a good restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
So
Milwaukee
And
means it's kind of like
Milwaukee.
it's like access bingo. We're gonna have to start playing access bingo.
We'll just shut them out, and everybody,
Yeah.
Um, and the fun thing about Milwaukee is all of their public parks as well. That's another one. Let's see. Let me get the
they have all the
county
beer
in
gardens too, right?
Florida.
Yeah, they
Yes,
have the
they
beer
do
gardens.
Yeah, they
have
have
the
all the
beer
beer garden. Yep.
gardens. And my sister tells me that Ira is awesome at the beer gardens. So, yeah,
I bet.
absolutely. And what is the county in Florida? Is that
Uh,
Broward County, I believe, or
I think,
Brevard
yeah,
County?
I think it's
It's
Broward, isn't it?
Yes, I do believe it's
Yeah, I
Broward.
think it's Broward. Yeah.
Yep, their county parks are all Ira access locations. So if you want to walk around in some of the really cool scenery down there and possibly see an alligator or two, you can
Then of course
definitely
we
do
have
that.
our online offers. So we have the
Oh yeah.
Smithsonian, which is a huge one.
Yep.
They're in person too, though. So
Yes, they are. For the
we
ones that
have
are open, which is increasingly more of them, happily.
we have of course Target.com is always there. There's
the Grand Rapids Public Museum,
Yep.
which is a very cool museum. I did a podcast interview with them that will be coming out soon. And I want to go now because it just sounds like such a cool place. But that offer is also available for their online content too. So,
You want some blindness history, the APH
ooh,
Museum.
yes,
I am
yes.
all for that
You
museum.
can
You can
go
spend
check
all
out
sorts of time
all those
there.
cool braille writers,
Mhm.
different kinds of braille writers. So there are just a plethora of things out there. So do we
And we
have?
haven't even touched the surface.
No.
So there's a lot more. So
Yes, well, I was pleased to see some emails from the folks in Ireland who said, it's just worth it to have that JAWS offer when my JAWS stops working. So they
yeah.
were so happy to finally be able to use that. So, but yeah, sometimes we forget
Oh,
that it's
yeah.
the little things, the little
Yeah.
things that matter, when
It's
your
one of our more
computer isn't
popular,
talking.
if you look in the number of calls and minutes that Vispero JAWS offer
Yep.
gets quite a bit of use. If anyone knows Matt Ader at Vispero, he's a great partner, and I know that their customer care isn't always available, right? They just like ours, right? And he's happy to support calls that maybe it's not just because JAWS start, especially when the care team isn't available. And if our agent can help, that's great because they're a great partner. And I know
we have a
JAWS
question on chat
Okay.
from Tracy, who asks, I have a question with regards to hands-free and the glasses with the SDK. The SDK sounds awesome. Will this work with, say, the Google glasses? I'm a little uneducated on that part. Thank you.
Great question. Great question. I was
Ryan,
wondering if we could get away. Go for it. Go for it.
I asked the
Troy.
question. You can hit it, Troy.
So you guys know, as a CEO, like I have, my job is to grow the business, but my background is in technology and software, and so I get really excited about these questions. That's why I love answering these questions. So the answer is the SDK, and like I think Winway even asked, like I'm not a technologist, I don't know what you're talking about, but the SDK is really about creating something that is, they call it portable, that can run in many places. And this SDK will allow us to be in many places like the Google Glass. We've heard requests, and by the way, we're all ears on this. If you ever wanted to privately or whatever chime in, we know there's some customers out there that have Envision glasses. I know the price is pretty, it's up there, but we know some people, use Envision. So I've had requests like, hey, can you partner with Envision and get them on the Envision glass? And so that's something we're thinking about. Will we ever sell glasses directly to you? Not for the foreseeable future, not very unlikely. For reasons I've discussed before, happy to go over again. Instead, what we're going to do is look to create the most easy to integrate software so that when we identify a platform, whether it's Ring, whether it's Amazon Alexa Show, whether it's something that's yet to be created, maybe SpaceX someday, I don't know, like your Tesla, the sky's the limit.
Space.
If it has
Ira
a camera,
on your Tesla, your agent's guiding you. No.
Here's what I say: if it has a camera, right, and it has a microphone and it can be connected to the internet, there's a really good opportunity for us to put Aira. And if you remember nothing more, the SDK is our technical strategy to make that possible. But as of today, the focus is desktop. It's our first kind of new platform that will leverage this SDK strategy, and then you'll see it proliferate over time. Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into that. We could definitely spend some time talking about it, but I think it's important to know that ultimately the end story here, especially when we look at desktop, is your ease of use, right? So today we look at what it takes to get onto a remote assistance with an agent, right? We've heard the codes, TeamViewer, especially the ability to get on with TeamViewer sometimes is frustrating. And so, desktop will hopefully, not hopefully, but will get you that access to that agent there's also getting a file to and from your agent, right?
Yeah.
So, how can I get, it's frustrating, right? You have to email your agent a file, they have to receive it, and then, it's going back and forth. So, why not make that easier? And so I think there's opportunity there for us to make that easier for you. And then, going forward after that, as Troy says, and there's so much out there that we can look at. And once, I always say the sky is the limit. Like you can, the Google Glass is just one of many things that we can look at to integrate with. And I think that we are listening, we are watching, and we will definitely.
So the answer, Tracy, is yes. That
So
SDK will, in the long run, help to get some more hands-free solutions out there.
Tracy says, "LOL, would love Tesla. Never heard of Envision glasses. Is there something I can look at?" Yep, Envision is another company.
Yep, they are called Envision AI.
Envision
not to be
AI.
confused with Envision America, which is another assistive tech company.
And you're, let's see. I thought I saw.
And I think we can take one more.
Yep, I just saw a hand
right.
raise. Yep, so that's what I was looking at. All right, Barbara. So Barbara and Brad. So
Hey,
it's
hello,
either Barbara or
and
Brad.
Brad.
How are you?
They are longtime Aira explorers.
Got to get them unmuted.
Yeah, let's see.
Make sure
Barbara, unmute thyself.
Did I send the request?
There we go. We are sending. Yeah, we're sending you
Zoom needs
guys.
voice controls. Like I should be able to say,
I
"Hey,
know. Wouldn't that
Zoom,
be
unmute
great?
Barbara."
Some Siri commands there to
Right.
unmute.
Let's see, I asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go.
she
Yay, we
is.
got it. Yay.
All right.
I didn't notice the you need to unmute yourself
Yeah.
thing. Sorry about that.
All good.
No worries.
Oh, man.
How are you, Barbara?
I'm doing well, other than being technologically in a quandary
That's
or whatever.
okay. It happens to all of us. Trust me.
But my question has to do with the TeamViewer quick support. I know that recently there was something out there about working on something that would help us to get more than like 15 seconds at a time with somebody on the quick support thing. And I wonder how far along is that alternative, or are we still trying to get that to work?
So let's see, Ryan, this is the quick support is specifically on
the
the
TeamViewer app
mobile
for
device.
iPhone. Yeah, the one that drops
the
every
mobile
15.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a rainy day with Apple stuff.
This one's been going on for a while,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and
Yeah.
it really is. It's a hard one.
Yeah, we're looking for alternative vendors. But we haven't found one. We need to get back on that, Ryan.
Yeah, when we had the glasses, we could use that
Yes, of
to
course.
look at our iPhones or whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever device it was that was acting up or that we couldn't figure out what to do with.
Yeah.
And the TeamViewer
good-
quick
it's a good
support
kick
was
in-
a fairly
kick in the
good
butt. We need to look at that.
No,
again.
I think the biggest one is, with the camera active and the remote session, the screen sharing. But there is also, when you bring up a good point, with Zoom, we definitely, there is that option out there. We can, that can be done.
So Ryan, what are you saying? So
Zoom.
that the user calls in, they're like, "Hey, I want to have the agent look at my mobile screen, not my computer screen, right? Because TeamViewer works okay on the desktop."
Yes.
Yeah, I want to share something. I want you to look at it. Makes total sense. What, Ryan, would they just ask the agent then? Hey, can we do a Zoom session?
Can we do a Zoom session? Yep, and then you can jump on Zoom and share your screen to Zoom.
Yeah.
And the agent would be able to look at your screen that way.
So if I'm on my phone, then I would go to Zoom on my phone, and they could do something.
And actually,
they
believe.
would start a Zoom session, Barbara. Just like, I don't know if most of us myself included, mostly do the desktop, but sometimes I'm out and about, and so I join a Zoom on my mobile phone.
Oh,
right?
I do that quite often.
Okay, well then now you're Zooming with your agent. So the agent has the video that's coming across from the Zoom screen in addition to the video that's coming off of your camera, and you would have to choose to allow them to see your screen, just like you share a screen in Zoom, and then off they go.
Okay, but I don't quite know. I mean, I have gone to Zoom meetings. I haven't shared a screen.
Maybe Jeanine, we can do a podcast
actually,
on this or something. We can do a let's do a podcast on this. I think that
we can do a
is a
demo of
workaround that we can get going. So we'll work on that and get something out for you guys. That way we can
absolutely
use that as an alternative to quick
it's
support.
It's a little bit of a process.
It's
once you get used to doing it, it's not too bad. But you know, any of these screen share things are needlessly complicated in the mobile world.
Well, thank you.
You're so welcome, and we'll keep
That's a great question.
We'll keep everyone up to date, and thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Really, it's definitely something that we're looking into, and we'll.
And I know that a lot of people are wanting that to help with depositing bank checks and things like that.
That's a big one.
ID pictures, yes, getting those ID pictures in the frame. And more and more often, it's your vaccine card that you've got to get in that frame. So, yeah.
All
right.
Wow, we are overtime.
But
this has been a great meeting.
Great questions, guys.
Absolutely love it. We will follow up. So our follow up from this will be to get that out for you guys on how to do with Zoom, and make sure that everyone can.
We'll do some testing and
some screen sharing and.
Yeah, absolutely. Get us back in business with that aspect. So much going on. We will wish everyone a happy Halloween. We will be back because you know what it's time for, Ryan?
I do know.
Rattle, the Braille calendar. Yay. It's time to order your new Braille calendars too, people. So our next meeting will be the 17th of November. So, 17th of November.
Not quite Turkey Day yet. But...
I was going to say, is it the week before Thanksgiving?
The week before things, it's almost.
Almost. Well, stay tuned, though, because in November, that week, you might hear about a really fun promo. So, just saying. You know, something is in the works for the holidays.
Then it comes time for some elves to come visit.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, just wait.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the elves are going to have to come out again. Yes, absolutely. So everyone, please stay safe. Have a safe and happy Halloween coming up, and we will be back with you on November 17th. This has been Jeanine with Troy Attilio and Ryan Bishop. Hey, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Good night to all of you out there on Facebook, etc.